All right, boys. So, it's been kind of a wild week, and I do have one story to start us off because I brought up on last week's recording that I had a little RG35XX made by Ambernick, and that it plays a whole lot of retro games. First of all, I beat the main story to Tears of the Kingdom, and it might be my new favorite Zelda game, which is crazy because Breath of the Wild is so good.
I could believe that, though, because they've had, however many years since Breath of the Wild, and in that time, I mean, we got Elden Ring, we got nothing else of importance, but they were at least able to, learn from Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring, and then put it into this new one, so...
Tears of the Kingdom was amazing. It was everything you like about Breath of the Wild with better story and, a lot more creativity you can have along in the game. And I'm taking a break from it right now because I put over 50 hours into it in, those first week and a half, and I was like, I'm going to take a break and come back to it. So right now, I'm playing through the original Fire Emblem on my RG35XX. And yesterday, I was tinkering with it a whole lot. I took out the SD card and I was like, okay, I'm going to wipe the OS that's on here because it's kind of bad. And I'm going to put a nice OS on it. Because there's people online who make their own operating systems for little devices like this. And there's one called Garlic that everybody uses for this device. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get that. So I was working on it for an hour and a half. I get it. I get all my games uploaded. I'm playing for a few hours. I'm even texting Zach. I'm like, dude, I'm playing Fire Emblem and I'm having such a good time.
And for the viewers at home, because this is a super important distinction, that we're talking about Fire Emblem. I think we mentioned it last week too. Again, but this is Fire Emblem 7 for the GBA. This isn't the NES Fire Emblem. All right, this is the best one with Lynn and Eliwood and Hector, my boy Hector, best Fire Emblem lord.
Yeah, so I've been enjoying it a lot. I'm on chapter 11 or 12 in the main story, and I was like, yeah, I'm texting Zach about it. And then yesterday, I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I've got all the files I want. I take it out. I upload some files. I go to put it back in so I can continue my Fire Emblem journey. And what do you know? The device won't turn on. That's great, right? So it just won't turn on. And I'm like, great, cool. It's not booting. And so I go online and I'm like, oh, great. I spent 2 hours on this weekend. And now it's not working. So I'm putting the device in, I'm repairing the drive, I'm changing all the partitions up. I'm like, what is going on? Why isn't this working? So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to bite the bullet. I'm going to format it, and I'm going to do it all again. Except I know how to do it this time, so it'll be a lot faster. So I format the disk, which is a 256 gigabyte SD card. I format it, I put it back in, and I re-upload everything. I write Garlic onto the OS again, and boom, we're ready to go, right? I click the button to turn it on. Nothing happens again. And I was like, fuck, I can't believe I'm wasting all this time on something that's not going to work. I must have just broken it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try one more thing. I'm just going to do some Googling. And I find one article. I was like, oh, man, this device will not turn on. What do I do? And someone on there was like, well, did you press the reset button? And I was like, oh, well, matter of fact, I haven't. No way that's going to work. I click the reset button. Device turns on just fine. It works perfectly.
Of course. That is typical. I mean, as someone who has worked in IT, it's always that fucking shit. You can never rule out, well, turn it off and try it again. I know that it doesn't seem like that's going to do it, but you'd be shocked how often that's the solution.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking because I did have to restart Fire Emblem, but I just fast forwarded through the first 10 chapters again. But I was sitting here playing around with it, and it was a blessing in disguise because there was a couple things that weren't working right in the original one. There was a consoles folder and a favorites folder, and nothing would boot from there. So I was booting just from the files directly every time, and I was like, if I have to deal with this just for these games, I'll do it. It's fine, whatever. But when I redid everything, everything was working perfectly. So it was a blessing in disguise that I had to wipe it, but yeah, it was a pain.
Well, I'm glad you stuck with it. You'll have to tell me your thoughts when you get further or finish it, if you finish it.
I think I'll finish it.
Yeah. That's seriously. I mean, we'll talk about Zach's top 10 games of all time. I mean, I'm a little over it now, though. Funny enough, I am replaying that game as well. So funny, but I've probably beaten this game more than 20 times.
Wow.
Yeah, well, because I come back to it every once in a while because once you play through the game, I mean, obviously, there's like little support conversations that you can get between the characters. And there are some of them that I still haven't read because you can only have support conversations with up to like one character can only support with two other characters. And so all the characters have much more than two people that they can support with, though. So you have to go through multiple times with like all the different characters to see all their relationships and conversations with each other, which also then impacts like the little epilogue at the end of the game. It tells you, ooh, Hector and Florina got married, or whatever the case may be. It's not always that, but it's cool to be able to like get the different endings and see the different support conversations. So yeah, I've wasted way too much time on this game, is what I'm saying.
To me, that sounds like I haven't played Fire Emblem again. I'm going to reiterate that, but to me, it sounds a lot like the Mass Effect vibe, where you want to talk to all the characters to like build up the relationship so that you can know more about them and that you can see their development. But you can only take two of them on your missions at a time. So every mission, before me and Seth played through Mass Effect together, so before every mission, we'd be like, all right, who do we take on this mission? Like, well, this person's more suited, but we like this person, and that one's got a big dumpy. So we gotta take Big Dumpy, and then we gotta take like the most interesting character. And then you had to kind of find the mix and match, or for whatever worked best. That
the Garrus Tally combo was the absolute best. Just every time we'd be like, today's a Garrus Tally day. Like, come on, they're coming along.
That's definitely the vibe, though, because they give you way more characters than you could feasibly use. And so, I mean, there's always the chance that someone dies, but you're crazy if you think I'm just going to let one of my beloved characters die and not restart. Because if I've invested a single bit of experience into a character, I'm going to see it through. Like, fuck no, I'm not going to waste all this extra experience I could have given to someone else. I am restarting regardless of whether or not I really need them, because that's the kind of gamer I am. Which in the newer Fire Emblem games, they've taken away the permadeath thing, but I mean, I feel like that's kind of the whole point of those earlier Fire Emblem games. Is well,
it's funny that we say it's the whole point because both you and I, every time a character dies, restart. So it's like, oh well, if we didn't have to restart, that would be great, right?
Yeah, it's really just an extra game over. Is, well, if your main character dies, obviously you lose, but if any of your side characters dies as well, you also lose and you have to restart unless you I mean, there are some cases in some Fire Emblem games where I'll say fuck it, I'm moving on, sorry, I just don't care enough about this character to start again. But Fire Emblem 7, I love all the characters in that game, so I'll put myself through the pain of restarting, unless it's maybe someone who just doesn't matter. And I
just don't get how your adventuring party can be so big. Like, I'm going through all these characters and I'm like, wow, I have 12 characters right now. What do I even do with this many people?
You'll end up benching some of them, I imagine, as you go through. But don't sleep on the pre-promoted characters in that game, because they've got you've got your class, and then after a certain point you can get like special items to promote them into their final class. And some characters will come promoted early, like you'll get a cavalier who promotes into a paladin. All the pre-promoted characters, usually it's like a beginner's trap where you don't want to feed them too much experience early on because they give you like a pre-promoted character to sort of help you along. But all the pre-promoted characters in Fire Emblem 7 are seriously good. Like Marcus, he's awesome. Who else? Harkin, Carol.
Is Marcus the general? Because he's the one that I have right now, and he's a general.
Oh no, that's Wallace. Yeah. Wallace is the general. Yeah, he's pretty good too. I'll tell you, you can forget about him though. So the spoilers for later in the game, but you may or may not get him back. Okay. After a certain point, so
they kind of force him down your throat a little bit, right at that spot. And I was like, no, I don't. I was like, man, this guy's really high level, but I want my characters to be leveled up, so I only let him kill if he has to.
Yeah. I like Wallace too. He's a fun character, but he's probably objectively the worst.
Oh, perfect.
One in the game. So, yeah. After all that about how good I'm
just a really, really big fan of the casting animations for the mages. Like especially the fire spell where they like take a back step, spin, and then like cast a fireball. I think it's just an amazing animation, and I was like, man, I want this guy to be my most powerful just because I like that animation so much.
Yeah, I mean, not to make this the Fire Emblem episode, because I'm sure we have other shit to talk about, but seriously, that game is what really formed my taste in like fantasy and RPGs, and it's the reason why I got into D&D, because I just like seeing the little sprite animations they have for all the characters, like the fighters who all use axes in this game. Like I love the weight that it has when they drop the axe on top of the other guy's head, and you'll meet Hector eventually, but his animation is just
I find it so much more charming than modern games, like the tactical games like that, where I'm like, yeah, the modern 3D animations are really cool and I like them a whole lot, but these little 2D sprites are they're very charming.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's nothing fantastic, but it's probably the best animation you'll find on the GBA.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I've told you guys this a few years ago when I was playing Pokemon Go back in college. There was an anniversary, maybe it was like Pokemon Day or like, the 10th anniversary or something like that. I don't know. But they came out and they changed in your inventory box where you can see all the Pokemon you've caught. They changed all the regular images to the little pixel sprites for back in the day. And it was the coolest thing. I loved it. I loved being able to,
That is cool.
It made me feel very nostalgic for all the old games. And everyone was so glad when they did away with it because they were so but I loved it so much, and I to this day I wish they had a setting where you could just revert it and just have it permanently, but it was just like a limited time thing. I miss those sprites.
No, that would be awesome, because I think it was awesome in Generation 6 of Pokemon when everything went to 3D, because it was the first time that happened in like a main series Pokemon game. But I'm going to be honest, some of these Pokemon look really ugly in 3D. Like they were designed to be a 2D sprite. Like, have you seen Skarmory in 3D? He's just so dopey. Like the 2D sprite for that guy, he looks intimidating. He's a flying steel type. Like that's awesome. But you put him in 3D and he just looks like he doesn't belong.
Well, maybe the problem is the Pokemon that we're creating nowadays. Because, like, to your point, Skarmory is super cool. It's a steel bird. I mean, that's sick, right? But nowadays we're getting, like, snow code Pokemon and literally piles of trash Pokemon.
Hey, do not talk shit about Gen 5.
I will talk all the shit on Gen 5 if they have shit Pokemon.
No, Gen 5 had the best looking 2D sprites for Pokemon,
They did.
though.
Their sprites were so good.
Like, you want to talk about Vanillux? The ice cream cone
don't
Pokemon.
Do it. Don't even.
He looked best in his original 2D form.
This is blasphemy.
Now this is from the generation that brought me Chandelure, though, and that is just the coolest freaking Pokemon.
Okay, Chandelure is very cool though. It's one of the only times the Pokemon picked like a random object and turned it into a Pokemon that it was very, very cool. Chandelure, Ghost Fire, come on, Ghost Fire is cool.
You don't think Wash Mode Rotom is cool?
No, I don't. He's a washing machine.
What about Rotom Fan?
Oh, gee, I get so excited for a fan. Ooh.
No, Rotom's cool, but just to gush about one more Gen 5 Pokemon, and no one talks about this one, but Reuniclus, the fucking cell Pokemon, where he starts as a single-celled entity.
Oh.
He does his little cell reproduction, and then he becomes like a little cell man in his goo mech, and he's awesome. I love Reuniclus.
He is pretty cool. I'll give you that. He is pretty cool. But a lot of these things they've been coming out with are just, ugh.
I've got another Pokemon story to wrap us up on the old school conversation. And it's a little bit embarrassing, but whenever I was a kid, right, I was at Disney World one time. And this was during like that phase where like I'm playing a lot of Pokemon Fire Red, and at the time I knew there were different versions of the Pokemon games that I could only dream of what was in Pokemon Leaf Green, right? I was like, Fire Red is so good, Leaf Green must be so cool too.
Of course.
And so I was thinking about it at the time, and I remember I was outside on the sidewalk, just kind of like looking up at the stars by the pool at Pop Century Resort at Disney World. So I'm kind of like laying there, I'm looking up, and I'm like, man, I love Pokemon. And then I see a shooting star in the sky. I see a shooting star, and I was like, oh my God, that was crazy. I can't believe I just saw a shooting star. I guess I got to make a wish. So I'm a kid. I'm laying here. I see this shooting star, and I'm like, I'm going to make a wish right now. And you guys want to know what I wished for?
Don't
You guys want to know what
don't do it.
I would
Seth.
love.
You guys want
I
to know?
love. No, tell me, please. I'm dying to know.
I wished that I would own all of the Pokemon games. I wished that I would own them all. And now I have all of them on this one device next to me, and I haven't played a single one. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I have every Pokemon game from like Gen 3 and before at my fingertips right here, and I haven't touched them because I'm too busy playing Fire Emblem.
But think about it. Your wish came true, Seth. It took like 10 years, but your wish came true. That's it.
I
won.
can play any Pokemon game I want, and I have played pretty much I've played every generation except for the newest one. So, I mean, there we go.
What gen are we at now? Is it Gen 9 or 10?
9.
Gen 9.
Which Gen 8 went by so fast. I feel like back in my day, Pokemon generations used to take a few years, but seriously, like I feel like it was yesterday that X and Y came out, and now we're on Gen 9. It's
you're also
ridiculous.
getting old, Zach.
Yeah, I guess that's the truth of it is time just moves faster for us 20-somethings.
I don't
You
like it.
youngins wouldn't understand.
These 4 weeks of Chinese have really, really slogged by. I'll tell you that.
I don't know. It's been flying over here. I was literally just talking to fiance Eric the other day, and the new Mortal Kombat game, the preview came out. I think I told you guys that recently.
Yeah.
It came out the last couple weeks, and we were just like so hyped about it. Like, how often do these games come out? It's like the same thing we were talking about Pokemon. I feel like Pokemon's come out every few months. We're getting a new gen here, and realistically, Mortal Kombat, I think it was a few years ago. But it doesn't feel like it was. I feel like it just came out. I remember pre-ordering the last Mortal Kombat game. Like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy because Mortal Kombat 11 did just come out.
Yeah,
and it was on Xbox Series X and PS5, and and now it's there's another one on the same generation of consoles. Like that seems like that. I mean, I guess it's not too many, but it definitely feels like we just got the last one, and I guess even for Mortal Kombat, like they've been doing it one per console generation. So I think you might be onto something, or maybe we're just experiencing time differently now.
Well, I mean, think about this. The Last of Us Part 2 came out in 2021, guys. Like, it's 2023.
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't. You're
Yeah, it
lying.
did.
Came out in 2021?
Yeah.
That was years ago. I mean, that was like decades ago, my man.
Yeah, that was 2021, right?
There's
The
no.
Last
I'm googling
of
this. I'm
Us
googling
Part-
this right now.
Maybe 2020?
Release date. The Last of Us Part 1 or Part 2, my bad. Let's see. Oh, it's going real slow. Yeah. Oh no, 2020. Yeah, so it's been a long time, guys.
Well, it's only been 3 years. I still feel like it's been longer, but you're right, because I remember when that game came out, the three of us were we played through the first game to get hyped for the second one, and then we all played that, and that was after we graduated college. So
Yeah, that was
checks
3
out.
years ago, and that's the one that hits me because I'm like, yeah, Last of Us Part 2. That's like one of the games that hit me the hardest, and it was only 3 years ago.
That's nuts. I mean, for me, The Last of Us 1, it was years ago since I first experienced that. It was
Yeah,
like
you totally
whole
experienced it
2
in
years ago.
2013 with the rest of us. But talking about like new experiences. I mean, welcome to Table Talk Friday. My name is Seth Pittman. I'm joined by my two best friends, Andrew Romano and Zachary Carvon. How are you boys doing today?
Seth, I feel pretty good. It's going to rain on me on the way home, but I'm ready for this one-off that we're going to be playing in a few hours.
Heck yeah.
yes, yeah. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm well caffeinated. I just drank a whole Trenta Starbucks coffee before, so that's the biggest one for those of you who don't know.
Wait, Trent is a size?
Yeah.
Yeah, Trenta is the biggest one.
Wait, so all right, hold. You could just tell. What are the sizes here at Starbucks?
Well, so there's tall, and that's the small one.
Why is tall the smallest one?
It's a different language. And then there's grande, which is medium, and then there's
Okay.
venti, which is large, and then there's Trenta, which is large.
Why can't we just go small, medium, large? What's the problem with the small? It's a good system. It works out well.
They're making a brand for themselves, okay? I mean, everyone complains about it because we're stupid Americans and we really want our very specific conventions, but I don't know. It's fine. It's fine once you learn it. But I agree. I do think that it is weird that they just specifically they have that thing. And they, you say, "Oh, I want a large," and they're like, "I'm sorry, what? What did you say?
I can't comprehend that
I don't know
word.
what that is."
So in regards to this one-off we're playing in a few hours, I'm very excited for it because this will be my first time DMing with Roll20 for reals. I've done it like very, very little in the past, but I went hard this time. I learned how to use it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that we have a proper session. And I have surprises ready for today that I wasn't even expecting until I thought of it.
Yeah, well, we've got surprises for you too, Seth, because the group of us, we've had a group chat going on the side, just brainstorming band ideas. So we're this is the most prepared that I think we've been for a one-off in a while. Though Drew's still finalizing his character, but that's nothing new. Because we were talking about this before the recording started, and I agree. It just being a veteran D&D player is a curse because it takes me so much longer to create a character now that I know all the options. Because every time I make one, I'm like, well, let me do something that I haven't done before, and the breadth of that is getting smaller and smaller every time I make a character. And so I'm always trying to make something that's both unique and mechanically satisfying. So it just takes me a whole hell of a lot of a time, and I'm sure it's something similar for you too, Drew, for that.
Yeah, for me, I feel like I'm just always trying to find something new that I'll enjoy, and I feel like I've played most of the staple ideas. I've played the dumb barbarian, I've played the smart wizard, I've done a lot of the major components of D&D. So I'm always trying to find something that's still satisfying to play, but also that will use some sort of voice that I could do that's not one of the same 6 that I've used 800 times before. So, right now, I have no idea what this voice I'm doing. It's going to have to come out last second. I think it's going to be pompous. I'm not sure. I'm thinking my character's probably a douche, but we might find out on the fly.
Yeah, I think that's the vibe we're going for. So, this session that we're going to be playing later tonight is it's an idea that I know I've talked to you about it, Seth, before, but it's been something that's been floating in the back of my mind since college, and when right around the time we got into D&D, is let's just do a one-off or like a short campaign where we're all in a band and everyone's a bard. and so that's what we're doing is everyone is a bard of some description. And so I've made my character I'm going to be the lead singer. Kirk Romaine is my name. and we'll see how it comes out, but my idea is like a 90s-esque punk rock emo sort of character. And so I went Shatter Kai, and I'm just gonna be like a emo type elf who so I do blade singing and College of Swords bard is my my concept there. And you'll see more things come out in the session, but yeah.
Now I hope you guys are cool with the premise we had. My idea was like, yeah, you guys are powerful bards. Like, you're strong enough. You've been doing this for a while, but it's not about the magic. It's about the love of the music, right? So my whole thought was like, yeah, you guys are powerful magic users in your own right, but like that is just in support of your thriving music business, where you're finally getting enough recognition to open up for who is known as the Starry Knights. And so you guys have just finished your show with the Starry Knights, and you're partying afterwards here in this tavern. And now you have to figure out where your next paycheck comes from, because you've come all the way out here to Bryn Shander for this show with the Starry Knights, and you've got enough to get back, but you don't really have enough to live off of after that. So it's like, where are we going to get our next paycheck from?
We got to book some more gigs. We got to find some nice little food place. Do they have any fast food places in the area that we can jam out? Yeah, so
that's what I was thinking we'd do for 3 hours. Is we'd go just talk to a bunch of fast food places, and you guys were going to jam out and make like a couple of coins instead of like actually doing an adventure.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll try busking. We'll call up all the local venues that we can. We'll see if we can book a night. Just realistic band management simulator, I think, is what we're gonna play tonight. Simulator. I don't know why I worried so much about my combat abilities for this character, because that's not what we're gonna be doing.
Yeah, of
No,
course
I gotta
not.
I gotta think about my combat a little bit more. Per usual, I do have to rush back to my apartment after this and pick about 15 spells that I'm gonna utilize as this bard. But we'll see. I don't think bard spells are too complicated, except for the fact that they get 2 from anywhere, which will be the hardest ones. That I'll probably pick 15 minutes into the session as we're as we're playing through it. We'll have to pick something on the fly, but
Yeah, so we're 11th level, by the way. So that's why we've all got we all have the option to take magical secrets. I am a filthy multiclasser, so I didn't get that far, but I took a couple levels in wizard to get the spell that I wanted anyway. So that's which I'm leaving it a surprise, because this is a spell that I've looked at every single time. I'm always like, this seems like the coolest spell, but the reason why it's so powerful, I've come to find, is just no one can access it conveniently. It's like in an awkward spot where it's a 2nd level spell, and only wizards and warlocks typically get access to it. But most wizards don't appreciate it, and neither do most warlocks, because they've got other spells that are that do similar things. So it's really good on like martial characters, but none of them get access to it. So this is my one chance to use this very specific spell, and I think it's gonna really pay off. So you'll see when we get to it.
Yeah, I do intend
Zach,
to
have
have.
we covered this spell in our most recent frequently cast spells episodes, perhaps?
No, this is a 2nd level spell. I don't know if I probably brought it up in our 2nd level spells episode. So go back to that if you're super curious. Well, we're gonna play in a couple hours anyway. I'll let you guys know, just so the audience doesn't have to think about it for too long. It's Shadow Blade.
Ooh, okay.
Is the spell from Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
Oh.
Which so when you cast it at 2nd level, it's a bonus action, and you create a weapon that does 2d8 psychic damage, and every time you attack a target in dim light or darkness, you have advantage on the attack. And then if you upcast it using a spell slot of 4th level or higher, it does 3d8 on every attack, and then 5th level or higher, it's 4d8, and I believe 7th level or higher, it's 5d8. I only get up to 6th level slots, but I'm going to be casting that at the highest level I can, and just dealing out 48 plus some extra shit every attack.
That's good,
so
because guess what? You're gonna need it.
Good.
There is going to be a decent amount of combat in this session, and that's because I am tying a thread together that you've probably forgotten about. And that's what this session is about, tying up a loose end that I'm pretty sure nobody at the table would even think of.
Oh, I know. We're going to get the Casanova Chameleon.
Please.
We're going to find him.
The Chameleon Casanova.
That's what I said. The Chameleon Casanova, aka the Weevil.
That brings me up to my other point, because this week I had a bunch of people who've been asking me since we got here, like, hey, let's get together a D&D group on base. Like, we really want to. We've all been really wanting to play, and Seth, we know you've been DMing for a long time. Can you do it? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'm down to do something. Let's do some character creation this weekend. They wanted to do a whole session this weekend. I was like, guys, you are not taking up my entire weekend. I have Fire Emblem to play, and I need to go to the gym at least once. So
good, you've got priority.
Yeah, and I was like, if I do a session and that, I would have done a session yesterday, a session today, and I would have not gone to the gym. So I was like, no, let's do character creation. They've all made a very balanced group of level 3 characters, and I gave them 3 options of setting. I was like, we can go high fantasy, which is Forgotten Realms. I was gonna run them through like either start them out in a Storm Kings type deal, or go ahead and do Fandelver or something like that. Maybe even Curse of Strahd or something like that to start them out. I was like, we can do high fantasy. We can do Spelljammer. So Adventures in Space, I was like, I've always wanted to do that. We can do like a Flash Gordon style campaign in space if you guys are down for that. Or we can do Everon, and because there's a story I've been thinking of for a while that I've wanted to run for a little bit. And as it is right now, it's going to be a very long time before I can run it with you guys. So I was like, if I get to run it with these guys and test it out, that would be great. So I've got all of this in mind. And I was like, those are your 3 options. They were like, what's Eberron? And I said, it's a fan-made setting. It's more like steampunk and also a little more on the technological side, like magic and technology together. I explained a whole lot of stuff. I showed them some art and some pictures and stuff, and they were like, oh man, steampunk noir, like that seems awesome. Let's do that. So I'm going to be running an Eberron campaign starting next week, and I'm going to run them through literally what Glitch and 99 did first.
Nice.
and then after that, we're going to go on to them. So they've decided to have a group patron, which is going to be Alden de Orion, which is great. Because
cool.
I told them, I basically told them, like, hey, you guys can have a group patron. Here are your options. I ran them through the list. I was like, you can be part of a guild. You can be part of a, you can have a connection with like one of the dragon marked houses. You can have a connection here, there. I ran them through like the whole list, and they were like, ooh, it would be nice to have someone like on the more noble side, to take care of us. And I said, okay, well, I'm versed in like one noble that's here. So like, if you want to be part of this like sort of location and house, I can make that happen, and make one of you have like connections with them. And they were like, sure, yeah, let's go with that. So we've already got that thread set with Alden de Orion. And after that, I'm going to have them start looking into the cause of the morning, the big explosion that caused the war to end.
So the fantasy nuke that is not so subtly played out in Eberron's history.
Yeah, so literally my whole plan is to like get them to start looking into the morning and going up against rival groups to figure out, like, to race to see what the cause was and how they can stop a second one.
Now these players, these people have never played D&D before?
One
a
person has never played, and the other people have all played either a good bit or a little bit.
Okay, well that's a solid group. Honestly, if I were a new player now, I think it'd be nice to play with at least a couple people who know what they're doing, because that's the only way you learn, is having a competent DM or competent players around to sort of like, tell you what's up.
And one of my players chose Twilight Domain Cleric.
Of course they did.
So and he didn't know. He was just like, oh, this seems really cool. And I said, cool, now you've picked the most powerful cleric, so go ahead and go along with that. Luckily, they all rolled like very average stats, which was good.
Well,
like no one's like busted. I did have one guy who rolled awful stats twice in a row, and I said, you can re-roll one more time. Like, I cannot have you have these. I was like, I can't have you be the one guy at the table with just god awful stats.
Yeah, that's my issue with rolling is I want there to be something a little bit more in the middle between point buy and rolling, because I feel like point buy, you never have all the stats to do these crazy multi-class ideas that I have at low levels. But with rolling, there's always a chance that you get super shitty stats, and that's never fun for anyone. And
yeah.
Honestly, you shouldn't allow that to happen and let your player just go through with, well, yeah, I've got 3 negatives, and my highest positive is a +2. So
yeah, so basically
we got.
Our compromise, because I told him I was like, I cannot let you have like these shitty of stats. He goes, how about if I keep my 5 and re-roll everything else? And I said, you know what? Let's do that. And so we did it, and he got decent stats, and he has a 5.
Well, that's awesome. I feel like having at least one horrible stat it's a great way to get someone into like role playing and thinking about how to like portray your character. Because I think D&D didn't really click for me until I played Quinn, who had a 6 in charisma, and then I had like this whole bit that I built around that, because that's like a notable feature that was just sort of baked into his mechanics that was easy to express in roleplay. I feel like sometimes, unless you're a super creatively minded person, it's hard to think about, well, what are my character's mannerisms and what's sort of like their things that don't exist on the character sheet. So I think that's a blessing in disguise, though now I'm too much of a veteran and I'm like, what do you mean I've got -2 in charisma? I'm going to fail so many charisma saving throws at 15th level.
Yeah, so my thought for starting them out is I'm going to have them start off with going on the Chameleon Casanova quest. So like they're going to be sent after him first, and then by their notoriety with that, they'll get sent on like the big job.
Nice. You want my notes for that? I'm pretty sure that was all off the dome. for me for the Chameleon Casanova.
Oh, so none of that was in the book?
No,
Oh,
no.
cool.
Well, so that was all a side quest, and you guys didn't have to engage with it at all. But I just wanted a way to introduce you guys to the Boromir clan, which is the mob in Sharn, and they're halflings. So like they're in this big crime family, and they're all just like these little halflings who sort of run the city. So I was gonna have the Casanova show up at a nightclub that was sort of run by the Boomers, and that was just sort of going to be a flavor win for you guys. But the one in the book is what you guys already did. So the whole thing with Alden Dorian and his kid is kidnapped, and you have to rescue the child and then catch the ringleader before they escape.
I think we saved the crap out of that kid, though.
Yeah. Oh, you definitely did. Well, you were. The whole thing is balanced for first level characters, but you were only 2 people, and so I figured, well, I'll just put you at level 3 so that it more or less evens out. Like the enemies are gonna have a big action economy advantage, so I gave you a couple levels to keep up as a party of 2, and it worked out great. I mean, you guys were honestly overpowering most of it anyway, but. There were a couple close calls.
I feel like we had pretty average stats, too, in that one.
That's true.
But we were kind of kicking butt, though. I remember I broke that door down, and I was supposed to be like this big, strong sentry. I had like a 14 strength or something. I was like, yeah, big, strong.
Yeah, you were really owning that, though. Like, you gave off the impression of just the utmost competence. And you did show off in a couple situations. I'm pretty sure you cast... It was either Shatter or Thunderwave against like a group of hobgoblins or goblins, and you just killed them all in one spell. Like it was a whole encounter. And you just went, nope. And I said, and you do. Well, because you were a Tempest cleric, so you just said, yeah, I'm going to max that damage. And I said, all right. Even if they all succeed on their save, they're still dying because they've only got like 11 hit points or whatever.
I'm a big spell junkie, and I know Seth was talking about that one fireball animation you get in like Fire Emblem, right? One of my favorite spells I've ever cast was that single. I'm pretty sure it was a Shatter. I think back to that moment, like when I think of how could I cast a cool spell, I think back to that moment where I put my shield on the ground and I whacked it like a bomb inside the cave.
Yeah,
and it just starts echoing off the walls, and all the walls begin to crack, and everyone flew backwards. And that was one of my favorite castings ever.
I even made because you were in like this little mining excavation, basically. Like I made like the floor in front of you fucking cave into the hole, and like it rocked the crap out of that first level encounter. A second level Shatter.
Man, you gave me goosebumps now. I'm ready for this session. I'm ready to go. I'm gonna cast Shatter.
Yeah, bards can cast that.
What is second or third level?
Second level spell.
Second level. I'm good. I'm taking Shatter. See, look, I have to pick one less spell. I'm actually
I'm a
productive
little
here.
afraid for tonight because I know that there's so much like synergy you guys can have as a bunch of bards, but also I'm also afraid that your hit point pools as a bunch of bards aren't going to be nearly what they could be.
That is very true. That's my weakness. Is I did take 3 levels of wizard, which is at least that's 3 hit points that I could have that I don't, and I've only got I say only, but I've got a +2 to con, so I'm rocking 77 hit points at at level 11, so not the best. I almost earlier today, Seth, you mentioned that we get first level feats. I didn't know that, so I almost took the tough feat to sort of shore that up, but I took a +2 to my dex instead.
There you go.
It's always a side thought. Always a side thought. You look at the tough, you're like, I could literally put no thought into this and just be a little beefier, but
well, my AC is so high. I'm sure there's no saving throws that I'm gonna have to make.
Oh,
so,
probably none. No, I can't.
Yeah,
imagine.
so good luck hitting me, DM.
Something else that has me really excited, Zach, is that you said that you've been reading up on Out of the Abyss, and the idea of me getting to play a character just sounds so exciting right now. Because with the amount of like work and like studying that I've been doing lately, D&D prep is literally the same thing as studying, just different. And so I've been just sitting at my desk constantly, just studying. And then now, with D&D, like my whole weekend's been like D&D prep, and so it feels like I've just been studying for like 10 days in a row right now. And so I was like, oh man, a weekend off to just play would be awesome.
Yeah, so I have been reading up on Out of the Abyss, and I've familiarized myself with the first chapter. I need to go back through and make my notes for a session, but Drew, I haven't told you about this at all, but I'm fully confident that I could run a session next weekend if we had to.
Really?
And so yeah, I'm super excited for that. I mean, maybe we'll do next weekend, or Drew, I know it takes you forever to make a character, so maybe the weekend after if everyone's down. But I was gonna bring that up at the end of the session, and
yeah, if everybody can do Avernus, that would be awesome.
Yeah, but in any case, I'm really excited about this campaign. It's just to give you guys sort of the highlights and the notes of things to be thinking about. This is very similar in structure in a lot of ways to Storm Kings, where it seems like a much more open adventure. You get a lot of leeway to sort of decide where you go and what you do. So keep that in mind. But it is going to be, at least for the early levels, very survival horror. So so there might be some resource management and sorts of things that we haven't thought about in D&D in a long time. So just be open to that, and we'll have a good time, I think. But
well, I have my thought that I would really, really like to play a monk.
Perfect.
So I either want to play a monk or an artificer, one of those two. So that's what I'm
either
in
would
for.
Be awesome. And so pretty much the whole campaign takes place in the Underdark, which I think you guys already know. But yeah, that's the situation. You don't necessarily have to be like Underdark races, and I think the game sort of assumes that you're not. But either way works. So we'll talk about that later. But keep it in the back of your mind, and I'm excited to tell everyone.
Would it be out of the question to be like a monstrous Underdark race?
Oh, absolutely not. Really,
okay.
I'm down for anything, even if it's like a custom lineage. Like you really want to be a intellect devourer who's taken over like someone else's body. Like fucking get creative. I'm into it.
Okay, what level range are we thinking on this?
So the book says to start at level 1, but that's bullshit. Because I've read this and it's way too hard for first level characters. So I'm gonna give you a third level. That you guys are gonna start at.
Here's my current thought off of everything you just said. Monk, right?
Right.
And being based on a Dreamwalker stone giant, just like a stone Goliath.
Ooh.
Who was like born in the Underdark and is just very, very mellow. So super duper mellow, very wise, and has spent most of his time here in the Underdark just alone.
That sounds awesome.
Like carvings along the cave walls, I'm thinking, he spent a lot of time thinking and just meditating. He doesn't have to live off of a whole lot, and he's basically fully like stone, based on stone giants.
Run with that. I love it.
Now,
yeah, I kind of like that.
Opportunity. You could perhaps convince the DM to allow you to use the new playtest Goliath. Perhaps
no. I'm gonna say
it's hard right now because I would love to have you guys playtest stuff. Like I wanted to say yes to playtesting the bard stuff, but then everybody would need to be on the same bard,
Yeah,
and that's how I felt about it. It's like I really wanted to be like, yeah, let's playtest some of the new bard stuff, but then there's only one subclass available for the new playtest material.
Yeah, so I'm sort of at the point where I'm super excited about 1D&D. I can't wait to get my hands on the completed version of this new rule set. But until that comes out, I really want to squeeze some more 5e out of this group. Like I love 5e as it is, and I'd like to get another solid campaign in if we can, with these rules before we adopt the new ones. And like you said, Seth, the new rules are incomplete, so you've only got so many options. If you play a new bard, you have to be lore, and there's a lot of rules that don't quite mesh perfectly with 5e. So I agree. I feel like at least for right now, we'll stick to what we're used to, and I'm thinking probably not first level feats for Out of the Abyss, but maybe I could be persuaded. I don't know, because as a player, I love first level feats.
I like first level feats a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that too. So we'll see. But part of the fun of Out of the Abyss is it's similar to Curse of Strahd in that it's a deadly campaign, and it's, you know, there's sort of like an element of, well, this is an impressive environment that you're in, and so you want the players to struggle a little bit. So I'll think about it. But maybe maybe
Zach,
we'll do
just
first
make
level
it harder.
Can do. It will not be hard to make that happen. This shit, I'll maybe you guys should read up.
No,
on
here's
it
what you should do.
after
You should give us first level feats and make it harder. That's what I do.
That's true. I mean, again, this first session is balanced for first level characters, but again, reading through it, this shit would be difficult for like 5th level characters. So
yeah,
I don't think that that your 3rd level group is going to be too OP by any means. So maybe we'll do first level feats. We'll see.
So give me a vibe check, Zach. Is this sort of a role playing? You said it's mostly survival. So because I kind of want to play one of my more notable characters that I've wanted to play for a while. So like I haven't played a cleric in a long time that I'm just dying to play long term, right?
Cleric
but I also haven't played my samurai fighter that I've been talking about playing for like 3 years.
Ooh.
So I don't know. I got some options. I'm just like,
dude, imagine you and I being the frontliners.
That would be
you
awesome.
and I are the
Goliath
frontliners,
monk and
that would be crazy.
samurai fighter.
Ooh, that would be really sick. Oh, okay.
Now, I'm also imagining we're kind of like because so I would be super mellow, and I imagine you would have like a code of conduct as a samurai, like a code you abide by. Oh, that would be so cool.
Oh, there's so many different ways to play these things. Okay, is there? Oh, now I'm into this. I'm not even thinking about the one-off anymore. I'm ready for Out of the Abyss now.
Well, good, because I want you to clear your head before the one-off, because it's going to be wild.
Okay. What about, so now we played Avernus, right? Where, if you were perhaps a pyromancer in Avernus, you'd probably be the most useless pile of junk ever. Should I be cautious of fire in Out of the Abyss? I don't know the feel of it.
No, so there are, like, for instance, I feel like in Avernus, paladins are goated, obviously, because everything you're fighting's a fiend. Every time you divine smite, it's going to be, you're hitting above your weight class. Same shit in Curse of Strahd. Everything's an undead, so paladins and clerics are doing great. Out of the Abyss, there are elements. I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say there are demons in this book.
No,
Demogorgons on the cover. So
that's crazy.
There's that. But long story short, they're all character options should have a good level of usability in this campaign, and it seems to favor you guys getting creative with a lot of your solutions to problems. So just be open to that. But Samurai Fighter would be awesome.
Okay, maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe that's maybe that's what I'm vibing with. I'll start thinking about it because I have maybe 2 weeks now at max.
Yeah, it's a 1 to 15 too. So you guys will get some of those later level.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll totally
you're
play
running
1 to 15
long term here.
Well, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, this is first and foremost the secondary campaign. I want nothing more than to just play through the descent into Nessus and finish our long-running Avernus campaign.
We will finish that. And next up, whether it's with another group or whether it's with you guys, the next campaign I will run, since I'm running an Eberron one already, will be Spelljammer. I want to run a space. I want to play sci-fi space so bad. Like, I've been itching to play a sci-fi D&D thing so long.
Same. I mean, our hype came and went for
no,
for
mine never left. I have been hyped to play space all of this time.
So we have to capitalize on that, is what I'm saying.
Look, I'm going into space, and I'm playing a plasmoid one way or another, okay? If I have to find another DM to play with just so I can be this plasmoid, I will do it, Seth. So you better be ready to run Gordo the plasmoid.
Yeah, I mean, I loved my Githyanki Blade Singer too, but no one in our Spelljammer Academy session played a Gith that's with 2 Fs. And I really want to be a hippo man too, so maybe that's where I'll go, because a Gith monk just seems awesome to me, and you can use guns and shit. A gun monk, a gunk.
I think I got my gun kick out after we did like the Wild West one off, and I think we did one even before that where Sean let us use some firearms and stuff.
Well,
so I got my
of
kick
course
out.
we even did the Tome of Heroes where you were the guy sorcerer.
Oh, that was so fun. I would do it again, but I'm glad I got that out of my system. Like I feel better now.
Yeah, I definitely would like to open a lot more options up for you guys in the future. So I want to open up whenever we do the sci-fi campaign, those Tome of Heroes options are going to be there because the gunpowder, the vibes that you guys have in space, that's going to be awesome. And I don't know, I'm itching to play D&D, but I know very well that I'm already going to be doing like 2 sessions a weekend, so I'm going to be maxed out because all of my free time is taken up already.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to actually be hearing about some extra D&D experience, though. That'll give us some more content on the podcast.
It was going to be a long time before I could run something in Eberron with you guys, so the fact that I'm doing it with these guys does make me excited because I get a little bit more exposure to a new setting. Because if you guys know anything about me, I love testing out new stuff.
Yeah, and I'm super excited to one day play in Eberron too because I know I ran that short little mini campaign for both of you guys, but Eberron is probably it still is my favorite setting conceptually, so I definitely
steampunk noir combines like all the vibes I like in pretty much any story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I spent so much time researching. I mean, the fucking Eberron book is worth every penny because it's so full of I was going to say it's so full of shit, but that's not that means something else. It's so full of quality content and lore and all that. And there's even there's an unofficial companion to that book as well on DM's Guild that even goes deeper into the lore of Eberron for 5e. So,
well, I feel like if nothing else, even if you're not going to read into all the lore behind Eberron and the setting itself, which would be foolish because it's super cool, if nothing else, grab it for the Artificer in the front of the book. I mean, why not?
Because it's already in Tasha's with an extra subclass.
Oh, it is in Tasha. That's right. Oh, well,
yeah,
never mind.
But for the time that it was out before Tasha's, it was a fantastic offering. And I still think it has legs, but it's not as great as it was.
I want to get back on that train.
Well, we've got a post-show and a game to play, so let's go ahead and wrap it up here, folks. Thank you so much for listening to Table Talk Friday. My name is Seth Pittman. I was joined by my 2 best friends, Zachary Carbon and Andrew Romano, and we talked about all kinds of updates as to what's going on with our D&D lives, a whole lot about Fire Emblem, which was awesome, and many more things on this episode of Table Talk Friday. You can find us on patreon.com/Table Talk Friday, where good old Gamer has been supporting us for the longest time. And over there you can get like a bevy of bonus benefits like post shows, extra content, stuff that you can only find over there. So check us out at patreon.com/Table Talk Friday. But now I need the Grand Artificer to take me out.
Hello down there. It's me, Big Bob, the grandest Artificer, the Grande Artificer.
Grande?
Some might even call me a Trenta Artificer because I'm so big. And my name is Bob, that's why they call me Big Bob. I could make you a car or a house. It's actually kind of small to me. It'd be like a dollhouse, but I can do it because I'm Big Bob. Anyway, now that I've established my character, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And if you need me to build anything for you, you can find me at tabletalkfriday@gmail.com. Send me your inquiries. I'd love to build something for you. Have a good day.